Where is the director of ceremony?
Good day, Chairperson. I'm finally logged on.
Okay. Apologies, I don't know what could have happened to the previous session, but I think we can proceed.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'll just start with just a summary of what to look out for when it comes to presentation, because I am not sure when the system caught me. It is important when you're doing your presentation to always be calm, to always feel relaxed. Even if you have to pretend that you're relaxed, try and be relaxed, because at the end of the day, you need to remember that you need to get your message across. Now, if you're anxious, it becomes very difficult for you to get your message across. It is very important to also make sure that when you're preparing your presentation, the sequence of the presentation has a bit of a flow, because you need to tell a story through your presentation, and that story needs to be appealing to your audience, because the audience is the one that will give you they'll give you feedback when it comes to your presentation. When it comes to the background, which is part of the sequence of the presentation, which entails in generic terms, is the background, the problem statement, objectives, and recommended solutions from your part. So when you're dealing with the background, make sure that you present the background clearly in a very concise way, and the background needs to be related to the topic that you have opted to choose in terms of your presentation. You need to be able to engage your audience. As I said, with the hackathon, the judges were your audience. You needed to be able to engage us with regards to your presentation, draw the attention of the audience when it comes to your presentation, because as I said earlier, we assuming that you are the expert in what you're presenting. So if you do not engage us and present your topic in such a way that is convincing, we as the audience tend to have doubts when it comes to your expertise with regards to the topic that has been chosen. It is very important to use visuals more than text, because if you have compact text, which I've seen in a lot of the presentations that were done yesterday, text tends to deter the audience from the main objective, which is understanding the concept of your topic. So try as much as possible, and where it is possible, to use visuals, because the other thing that you do not want to have is a situation whereby your audience is spending time reading your text, trying to make sense of it, as well as listening to you at the same time. So if possible, stick to visuals, and we have very great platforms that can translate your words into visuals. It is very important to also cover the full spectrum of your topics to ensure that there are no gaps within your presentation or your topic that you're covering. Because I have realized during the presentation that judges would ask the participants, I don't know if you've mentioned this, but can you please cover on this? And the response from the participant would be, I forgot to add it in. However, the team has discussed A, B, C, D, meaning that that is an unnecessary gap, which required for the judge to tap into, for you as the participant to elaborate further on. Had the judges not asked that question, it means that that gap would have stuck with the presentation. However, you need to be a bit alert that there are those gaps that are very necessary, whereby you as the participant or you as the presenter have the opportunity to shine and show the broad spectrum of your knowledge. So you need to be very clever when you are setting those gaps on your presentation. And just almost at the end, you need to run through your presentations and ensure that it is within the set time limit. Practice your presentations. If it means practicing in front of the mirror, do it as much as you can. Get an audience and practice your presentation in front of an audience. But the important thing is that if there is a set time limit, in some instances, if they say you're given 10 minutes, they will not notify you that 10 minutes have passed. They will just cut you. And you will find an instance whereby you were unable to share other points that might have been important for you to get across to your audience. But because you did not practice your presentation, you then fall short of presenting yourself and presenting your topic. And lastly, please, please, please shy away from casual language. Social media language, WhatsApp languages, twang, mother tongue lingo, please shy away from those, because to a certain degree, it can be a turn off. If you are going to use terms like, I want to do this, I'm gonna do this, you want to do this, you are going to, there are words that can be used instead of using wanna and gonna. I am Tswana. I might present to people and constantly say ne or agere. But to somebody who's not Tswana, they will not understand and might put them off. So please try, that's why I'm saying practice. Please try and stay away from using your common mother tongue lingo, because it can be off-putting. And when it comes to your casual languages, your twang, I know a lot of people assume, and it's a bad perception, a lot of people assume if you speak English with a certain accent, then it might be a determinant of how much your vocabulary expands within the English language, which is very untrue. So what I've realized, especially with this hackathon, is that a lot of people are trying too hard to speak English with a twang. And I think the majority of you understand what I mean. Stay away from trying to speak with a twang, because what you are doing is that you sometimes tend to swallow your words, and it becomes difficult for us as the audience to really understand what you're trying to say. So try and articulate yourself in a normal way. The twang, you can use it in some other platform, but when you are in a platform whereby you're presenting your skilling, your business savvy, and your potential, stay away from casual language, stay away from twang. And I don't know if there are any other judges that would like to add on to presentation skills before we move on to the next segment.
Maybe, Lerato, if I may add on to that. The other key issue that you need to make sure of is that when you're making a presentation on any particular topic, make sure you don't talk about things that you do not know. Whatever is on the slide is something that you must be able to articulate and actually answer questions about. If you do not know it, you're better off not putting it on your slide. And also, yeah, make sure, actually, what's key is make sure that you do know before you put it on. I saw a couple of you guys putting stuff that you have no idea and eventually say, I do not know much about this, but I think it's this. This is not the time to actually troubleshoot, or rather to think on your feet, or to speculate. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear you talk about stuff that you're knowledgeable about.
Thank you very much, Judge Hannibal. Any other comments from the other judges before we move on to the next segment? In the absence of any other additions, Judge Mpo, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Lerato. At this point, before we come to the conclusion of our proceedings, it has been suggested that the judges go into the judges' room for a quick deliberation, and then we'll come back to announce the results. So, judges, if you can please go into the judges' room.
And Dr. Kamundani, are you going to share the poll in the meantime?
Yes, let me launch it. So participants on your side, you see a poll. Just answer those 3 questions to the best of your knowledge, based on the experience. That would also help PAICTA to improve on future hackathons.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. I trust that everyone is back in. I'm not too sure if all of the judges are back. Can you confirm if there are any judges who are still in the judges' room, please, before we proceed?
I'm quickly check. Yeah.
Are we all?
Yes, they are all out of the judges' room.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I suppose I mean we have come to the end of the session. At least I mean almost to the end. But I suppose I mean so this is probably the most critical part of this because this is where we get to hear the results of our efforts over the past couple of days. But before I dive into the actual results, I just wanted to say a couple of things to the participants, the hackers. So I think number one, I mean, I really want to say, I mean, I think from the bottom of my heart, I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you are still here today. I think that for me says a lot about the people that you are, individuals that you are, persons that you are, because this is never an easy process. And I know, I mean, a lot of teams fell off through the process. And it happens because it is a very highly pressured environment. A highly stressful environment in some instances, but I think more importantly, it is actually a very enriching experience because this is ultimately how the real world works. You know, so this is you are put under a lot of pressure. You are put to work with people that you've never worked with before, but ultimately, you know, so the character that comes through is what's important because you show your character through staying the course. So I really just want to say from me, and hopefully I am talking on behalf of the judges and perhaps even on behalf of PAICTA, when I say thank you for staying the course, it is appreciated, but I think more importantly, I truly admire that spirit. I think that's one. And then number two, to all intents and purposes, and I did say this in my feedback, a hackathon is ultimately about winning, yeah. But understand, I mean, you know, so winning, you don't win on your own. We win here as teams, and we walk away as friends, hopefully, yeah. But it is important to really instill and embrace that spirit of competitiveness because that is ultimately what makes winners win. You know, I mean that's how you get to push the boundary. You push the boundary because you really are wanting to push the boundary, not for yourself so much, but for the ultimate customer that you are building the app for. And I think let's always remember that this is not tech for the sake of tech. It is tech for the sake of solving a problem sustainably. And I think lastly, you know, I just want to say that I mean, in spite of some of the challenges, the data challenges that some of you have experienced, you know, connectivity issues. I mean, you stuck the course. I think once again, that is highly admirable, and I think highly appreciated. So with that, I just, I mean, I've been asked to just take you through the results of the different teams. And then to announce the ultimate winner. Can we perhaps just move on the slide, please? So as we know, I mean, we were left with 4 teams, and the team that came fourth was Team 9, which averaged 33% for round 2. And 33% for round 3, and then with a final average score of 33%. Yeah. And then position 3. Position 3 is the second runner-up, and that is Team 12. So for round 2, they averaged 40%. For round 3, 34%, and the final average score for Team 12 is 37%. And then the first runner-up is Team 13, For round 2, they got 41%. Round 3, they got 37%. And the final average score is 39%. And the winner for this weekend's efforts is Team 6, with an average of 44% for round 2, round 3, 37, bringing their total tally to 41%. Now, so those are the scores. These are obviously averages from the different judges, and this is ultimately, so our feedback to all of the effort over the weekend. With that, I will announce then the prizes. I mean, so for the second runner-up, or perhaps let me start with number 4. And the president will talk to this in his concluding remarks. I mean, so you are obviously going to walk away with a certificate of participation, but I mean, we will also talk you through some of the free courses that you are able to get as a result of you participating in the hackathon. And then so now we will unpack that a little bit more in his address. For runner-up 2, Team 12, each individual will be getting 500. So the prize or the award is 500 per person for Team 12. Runner-up number 1, which is Team 13, each individual will be getting 750 per person. And for the winners, Team 6, each individual will be getting 1,000 Rand per person. So can I ask for a virtual round of applause to all of you? Because ultimately we are all winners here, is my view. But I think it just so happened that the guys who won are the ones who showed up slightly better on the day. But we are all winners, and a big round of applause to all of you for this. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Sonabo to take this further. Sonabo, over to you.
Thank you very much, Judge Mpho. Good afternoon again, colleagues. I think all has been said. A lot of things have been said. The judges have said very constructive, developmental words, just to put it that way. PAICTA is an organization that is out there to make a difference to the youth, to ensure that the youth develops, youth is empowered. We promote technopreneurship or entrepreneurship, depending on how we look at it from our side. We need to ensure at the end of the day that the youth, you guys grow up to be able to enhance your communities, to grow, and at the same time having a social impact through your growth, for your communities to grow, and there can be sustainability. It is, and as it well said, that the youth is now, the youth is our future. I think looking at all those aspects, I can comfortably say, thank you very much for spending 2 nights with us, a full day yesterday, and today you're still here. And amongst all challenges that you've encountered, and Judge Mpho has covered that, of losing connectivity and all other challenges, believe me, from our side as PAICTA, we have also learned from this engagement. We'll try and do things differently, and with the understanding out of this, and there's a questionnaire that was coming from the executive team within PAICTA and the judges, input, we've put a poll out for you guys to respond, so that we may learn from its engagement on things, or even learn on things that we've overlooked through the weekend. There was initially a big prize to be given to the overall winner. He withheld that prize for reasons that have been given by the judges, and I'm not going to go over it. That prize was given to us, or was sponsored to PAICTA, by BCX. And I want all of you to know. The prize is a course on design thinking, which is important for people or individuals that are in the tech space. Per individual in a team, the prize is over 20,000. That means if there is, for example, the team that has won now, they would have received that prize. There's 6 of them. It would have been 120,000 going to that team. To that team. We've withheld it for reason, as I've said, given by the judges, but we are not withholding it permanently. There are conditions to trigger the release of the prize. We would like the teams that are here today, if again, then there's no cohesion, with you guys feeling that you want to participate in a 2 months build of the IP that you've produced. Once the IP is ready, you'll make contact with PAICTA and share the enhanced or developed or improved, whichever way you want, or you can forklift what you have and rebuild it. Then you guys will come through, you'll be called in to present again. Depending on the availability of the judges, we would like it to be done around November, just before you guys go on holiday. I think you guys knowing what was the big prize, I'll put a full stop on that aspect. And I'm going to ask the judges and the core team, executive team within PAICTA, if there's anything that needs to be said. If there's nothing, then I'll come back and wrap up and thank you again. Judges, is there anything that you'd like to say? Prof. Jere, is there anything that you'd like to say?
I am covered for now. I would even maybe say from the workers themselves, if they want to say something to be good.
Okay, thank you. Judges, you've said, I'm sure you've been talking for the past 3 days. I'm sure you've said your piece. Okay, with no other comment from the judges, I'll take 1 or 2 questions from the participants. I think it's only fair for us, for me to hear from you. Hello.
Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi, Luvo.
I want to ask something about the 2 months hackathon that is going to. I mean, the built-in. Are the only teams that are allowed to participate? These the only ones that are here right now, or there would be other ones that will be added?
No, there is the only teams that qualify to go the next round is yourselves.
Okay.
We can't, it will be unfair to all of you to go invite other people when you guys have sacrificed 2 nights. I'm sure we all agree.
True that.
Okay. Next question.
There's a hand from Mpumelelo.
Can I ask?
Nompumelelo.
Greetings. Yes, greetings to the judges and everyone in this Zoom meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you guys for providing us with this opportunity. That's number 1. Secondly, I wanted to get clarity for, okay, I'm from team 13, meaning we are the second team here. So I just wanted to know, are we also going to get the certificates, or is it only for that other team? Thank you.
Can I take another question, Amatle?
No, for me, it's just more on around
as you mentioned, that the presentation, and is it all of us, are we given the 2-month period to actually give out the product, or is it only for the winner? If that's not the case, then what happens if there's a fallout around the team members in terms of they don't really want to actually be in that venture? So what could have been the resolution around those lines? Let's say there's a team in our team, but there's people that fall out in the sense of not contributing or doing anything. So what's going to happen in that space?
Okay. Let me answer the 2 questions. The first question, Nompumelelo, there will be certificates that are issued to every winning or every participant that is here today. Okay, that is covered.
Okay.
The certificates will be given. You need to give us time to issue them out. We'll issue them out and send them to you. I would suggest that you give your proper email addresses that you're going to receive these certificates to your mentors so that they are shared with us. We've had an experience in the past where we struggled. The email addresses were temporary email addresses that were used for the hackathon. A week or about 2 weeks later, the email addresses were not working. Okay. If you're happy with my answer.
Yes.
Next question. Amahle, we as PAICTA, we are not going to be accountable or responsible for keeping your teams together. We know there will be challenges, but there is a prize out there that is there, and I've mentioned the figures. If people are not interested in the prize, then I'm sorry, so be it. You guys need to make sure that you stick together, you build the solution as expected by PAICTA, to the standard that is expected by PAICTA. The normal industry or worldwide standard for hackathons, you're supposed to get between 75 and above percentages. You've seen the percentages that you guys have received. They're below 50%. So you need to build. We will only be there to support people that have put more effort and they've shown that they've put effort. Whether a team of 5 comes back as a team of 3, it's not going to disadvantage you. Okay. Whether a team of 6 comes as a team of 2, it's not going to disadvantage you as long as the IP it's investor ready, or it's an IP that an investor would be more than happy to invest for further development to a minimum viable product. PAICTA will be there to assist you once you've developed the IP to that level, to take it up to a level of technology commercialization, IP protection, and further virtual mentorship of that group, to a point where we are even prepared to that team that comes back. If you guys are willing to work together, we will facilitate and ensure and nurture you guys to make sure that you've got a registered company that will mentor further for 12 months while we're ensuring that your solution is being, or your IP is being developed further. And it is, once it's ready, it's commercialized, we can match it, we can client match it. And I can tell you now, Judge Mpho being here, he's coming from the industry, client matching is what he does best, okay? So you are in good hands. We've got ARC to check on the solution. We've got the professors and the doctors that are here, Prof. Amon, who is an agricultural economist. You've got Dr. Shibeshi, who specializes in the IoT space also, who understands if your solution comes back with an IoT component, if you consult, we can assist in assisting you to achieve what you want to achieve. I'm not going to mention all the judges. You've got Judge Lerato, who's coming from the ARC, Agricultural Research Council. You can see we are there to make sure that you are fully supported and fully rounded. I think if there's no other question, let's wrap up and close. Can I close now? Mzwake?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Mzwake.
So I was wondering, and I noticed that, okay, PAICTA, and I think we are based on what? We are based on finding solutions for the farmers, for the farm sectors or the agricultural sectors. So I was wondering that, are there any other platforms maybe that you will provide where we can come to solutions? Because the solutions which I had as we started this hackathon journey, I had different solutions to this, but then I just need to know on that, like, are you only focused on the agricultural sector, or are there other platforms as well?
Okay, thank you, Mzwake. I think let me just answer your question, Mzwake, for all other people's benefits. PAICTA is an ICT or information communication technology in full organization. As we all know, that ICT cuts across all sectors. ICT is an enabler of all sectors. Agriculture, we've just chosen agricultural sector as a focused sector for this particular hackathon. In May, we had done a hackathon on healthcare, okay? In November, we are hosting a hackathon right across all other sectors, but it's specifically for Johannesburg people or Johannesburg children. So we cut across them, Mzwake. I think for your sake and other people, just to give perspective, Mzwake, you're coming from the iHub in Gqeberha. You are one of the incubators. You must talk to your development manager, who is Garabo. PAICTA works very closely with iHub, but I hope I have addressed you because we don't have much time for me to go into detail on other things. But we're cutting across all sectors.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think those are enough questions that we've taken. If you've got more questions, you can reach me on info@paicta.africa, okay? Or go to our website and you'll find contacts and send an email. I'll answer you quickly if it's on an email form, okay? Now, I think at this point, I must say thank you. Thank you very much for the time that you spent. And while I'm thanking you, PAICTA, every 3 months, we host hackathons. So this might have been your first hackathon. You've got an opportunity to participate even next year on a hackathon. In March, we've got a cross-border hackathon. We might have 5 to 8 countries participating. You are more than welcome when it is there to participate. My suggestion before I say goodbye, I suggest strongly that you guys, you are in the IT environment. You need to have LinkedIn accounts if you don't have. If you follow PAICTA on LinkedIn account, it will be linkedin.com/in/PAICTA. That's where you'll find, that's where we announce or write about any other thing that is there. There's other opportunities that are there. Anyway, thank you very much for spending time with us. I thank you very, very, very much. I nearly forgot one thing because you're going to send your mentors questions. Please do me a favor. Share your bank accounts with your mentors so that we can split your winnings or your prize and deposit directly to your bank accounts. I'll appreciate if you can do that in a coordinated way with your mentors. I thank you very much. All the best. God bless. We really believe in the youth. Judges, thank you very much for the time that you spent with us. We always appreciate the support that we get from all stakeholders, from all points of life in our communities. I thank you. From the bottom of my heart, God bless. May God grace you with more wisdom and blessings.
Thank you, Mr. Mdaba.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And
Thank you, Honorable.